Welcome back to Resonating Through Art. Have you ever struggled to get a mica powder rub to go where you want it to, like the static electricity kept grabbing the little particles and throwing them everywhere? Well, here's a nifty new technique to go ahead and make it much easier. So you need 91% rubbing alcohol, something to mix in, and your mica powder. And some tools to kind of make it easier. I found that it was actually quite easy to use an eyedropper for this, or a pipette more or less, especially the disposable kind. So the trick comes with taking a little bit of the rubbing alcohol, putting it inside of a container to mix. You'll want a fairly decent amount. Then the mica powder of your choice. Mix it into suspension into the rubbing alcohol. And what this is going to do is it's going to cut down on that annoying problem of static electricity. Now, one key point, this generally works best in a flat mold that has some decent demarcations, such as these dragon mold ones that I've got. So what you'll do is take a little bit up in your pipette and drop it into the actual center of the mold. And what you'll see is it's going to grab onto that liquid and spread it out. The edges are going to kind of work as a barrier, and it's going to settle into the grooves. This wouldn't work real well on a raised area that you're trying to dye, but it works perfect if you have a nice indentation that's clean and clear. And what's nice is the fluid will even flow off of those top areas and back into the actual core. So yeah, if you spill, you just suck it back up and reapply it where you really want it to be. So you just fill everything in until you're happy and let it dry. So here is all of my molds all set up, all colored, and I just let them dry completely to make sure that there's no alcohol ink left, or I should say no alcohol left to cause them to spread more. So with them all dry, we'll be ready to add our resin. As usual with alcohol inks, or alcohol in general when it comes to the mica powders, you're going to want a dark color. So in this case I use black with just a little bit of kind of the holographic mica. Just makes for a very nice little sparkle. And this is going to make those colors pop. So let's see how they turned out, because this is them after the cure. Looks kind of slick, doesn't it? So much easier than trying to pinpoint, especially inside of grooves when it comes to doing an actual mica powder rub. Like I said, this doesn't work in all instances, but it does work pretty nifty if you have grooves for the liquid to settle into. So you're essentially making kind of an alcohol ink using the mica powders, but it is a suspension. And yeah, once the alcohol ink, or once the alcohol actually ends up evaporating, you end up with a nice deposit. So use it if you've got the right mold for it, and see what you can come up with. Happy crafting!